Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Liz Loves Books. Today we're going to be doing the Nightmare Before Christmas book tag. Thanks so much to Ashley from Ashley Hearts Reading for tagging me to do this, and as well to the creator of the tag, who is Vivi's Books 208. And without further ado, let's get into the questions. So the first question is Sally, and it's loves someone a lot and gets them in the end. So the book that I picked for this one is Wild and Wrangled by Lila Sage. This is book 4 in the Rebel Blue Ranch series, and my favorite book in the series. I gave this book 5 stars earlier this year. And the reason I picked this one for Sally loves someone a lot and gets them in the end is because our MMC right here, he is the epitome of pining and yearning. Friends to lovers, to strangers to lovers. Both of these characters have quite a journey in the books. Our FMC, her name is Cam or Camille, and then our MMC's name is Dusty. And throughout this book, it's always been described as like, it's always been her. It won't be anybody else but her. And he has a secret tattoo for her. He does like a lot of like really long, like dedicated paragraphs talking about how amazing she is. And he never stopped loving Cam. They were high school sweethearts, and then situations with her family happened and she decided to not be with Dusty anymore. Many years went by. She had her own kid. He had other relationships, but he was still constantly pining for her. So this is a perfect one to pick up if you're looking for someone who loves somebody else a lot and gets them in the end. Are you interested in it too, Rascal? Yeah? He wants to be in the video, I think. Let's go to question 2. This one is Jack, a character that longs for more. I decided to pick The Favorites by Lane Fargo. I had a little play break with the dog. So back to question number 2. As I said, Katerina is a professional ice skater. She'll stop at nothing to win the Olympic gold for America, pushes others around her to win, uses others. She uses our MMC Heath in this book. She uses our 2 other side characters, Bella and Garrett, as well. And Heath is her childhood best friend / something more throughout the whole book. And he is like an amateur ice skater, but becomes a professional just to please her because they just have such a good connection when they are on the ice together. And she has found out throughout all of this time that like he is the one that will get her to win, even though she tries to use other people as well. And this is a toxic trait for her. She is not a good person. I would definitely say that. But she does long for this really big, unattainable goal for a lot of people, and she will stop at nothing to do it. So I figured this was a good pick for that. If you like toxic characters, this is a really good one to read. Speaking of more toxic characters, number 3 is Zero, a sidekick character, and I decided to pick Daisy Hates by Jessa Hastings. This is book 2 in the Magnolia Parks Daisy Hates universe. I've read the first 2 books, and the character in this one that's a side character, in a way, is Julian Hates, Daisy's older brother. He does have some POVs within this book, and they're usually a few pages long, every once in a blue moon. But, so you could consider him a sidekick character. I consider him like the main character. I love his POV, and I wish I had more of him, and I wish we had more books about him specifically. Maybe one day. But yeah, Julian Hates is in his late 20s. He is basically like a big like contemporary mob boss in this world. And as I said, he's kind of a side character in Daisy and Christian's love story in this book. And he is a very misunderstood MMC and character within this book. A lot of people don't know a ton about him, including even his sister. She knows the most about him, obviously, because he has raised her since their parents passed away when they were younger. So she does know the most about him, but there's still so much that he is hiding from her. And so he's a sidekick character, but he's so nuanced and unique compared to what your typical sidekick character would be. So if you're looking for that, this is definitely one to pick up. Then question number 4 is Oogie Boogie, a book with a wicked villain. This book, I do not own it, but I did listen to it on audio this year and voted for it in the Goodreads Choice Awards in the nonfiction section, and it won the category. And that is The House of My Mother by Sherry Frankie. Now, this, because it's nonfiction, obviously that means it's happened in real life. It's a very devastating story. This book was written by Sherry Frankie, the oldest daughter of the really popular YouTube Mormon family back in like the 2010s. And they have like 8 kids, husband and wife, your typical really successful, rich, white, religious family. And there was a lot going on behind the scenes. And this is basically Sherry's book about everything that went on since her family started their YouTube channel and then went slowly downhill. It has to do with a lot of the mother being very abusive, very controlling, a religious fanatic, and now in the end she's actually in prison for a lot of these child abuse charges. It's a very devastating book, but it's also an interesting topic because there is also a documentary that I watched on it. It has a lot of really uncomfortable things in it, but I decided to listen to this and watch that because I used to watch this family on YouTube when I was back in college. So it's just kind of weird to like think back on that and wonder like, wow, I really was part of this weird group that like watched these families live their lives and how weirdly it had like a chokehold on everybody. And I'm not a religious person, but I watched a lot of like these like Mormon religious families too. So it's just very interesting in hindsight to see it now. But again, what could be better fitting for a book with a wicked villain plot? And I figured it'd be interesting to add a nonfiction in. Question number 5 is Halloween Town, a book with a creepy theme. I always have to push my #1 book of the year, Don't Let the Forest In by C.G. Drews. This is a YA horror book, so horror usually always has a creepy theme to it. But this also has a lot of like plant and nature horror, obsession, codependent boys. Thomas and Andrew are MMCs in this book. Thomas is an artist and Andrew is a writer, and they discover in this book that Thomas's art is coming to life and they have to work together to defeat these monsters that are coming and trying to hurt a bunch of people within their boarding school that they're at. They're seniors in high school. But it's also cool because this has a lot of really interesting, like, creepy illustrations within it, too. They're supposed to represent, obviously, Thomas's art. And then the stories that Andrew writes along with them. I'm going to see if I can find one that's not spoilery. Well, here. This is how they describe, like, the stories that are written in it. And then, if I can find art, here, for example, is one of the illustrations within it. Absolutely beautiful, also absolutely terrifying. And the cover, you can see, obviously, like, that plant horror, especially in the back. It's kind of disgusting, but it's also really beautiful at the same time. And I've been pushing this book since I read it in like April, so read it, please, thank you. 2 more questions left. We have question number 6, Christmas Town, a book that left you feeling warm and fuzzy, and I picked If It Makes You Happy by Julie Olivia. I just read this at the end of November, gave it 4.5 stars, really enjoyed it. I figured this was a good book for this category because it has multiple holidays within it. You celebrate Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and even a bonus chapter with New Year's. So holidays, they always give you warm and cozy vibes and feelings. And it follows our 2 main characters, Michelle and Cliff. This takes place in the late 1990s. So get all those 90s vibes, Gilmore Girls vibes, as you can tell from the cover. People have talked about this a lot. It's been very popular. It was in the top 20 Goodreads for romance this year. And it's just a fun, cozy, warm, fuzzy, good time. So that's why I picked it. And then finally, question number 7. What is this? A book that took you by surprise. And I decided to pick The Thrashers by Julie Soto. This is a YA thriller with mystery elements to it. And I picked this one as my surprise because I had picked up one other book by Julie earlier in the year, gave it 5 stars. And so then I was like, okay, well, she had this book come out, I'm going to read it. And I got it from the library because I was like, okay, a YA thriller mystery. I don't know if I need to have this. Spoiler alert, I have it now. And it's got a printed signature, which is really fun. Anyway, this follows a really tight-knit high school friend group of Julian, Lucy, Paige, Zach, Jody, and Emily. And in the beginning of the book, so it's not very spoilery, it also discusses it on the back. Emily, one of the group members, does pass away in mysterious circumstances, so then the other group are kind of left reeling going into their, I believe it's their senior year of high school, junior or senior year, trying to figure out like, oh, why she died, what happened, dealing with that trauma at such a young age. And I was just so surprised by this, by the writing, the topics. It didn't feel super YA and juvenile. It felt like it was written for adults, but like just had like YA characters. And the reason it's called the Thrashers is because that is what the group is called. Their leader, Zach, his last name is Thrasher. So that's why they're called the Thrashers. They're like the it group. And I was also surprised by this because I gave it 5 stars. I don't think I've ever given a thriller mystery of any kind 5 stars before, let alone a YA by an author I've only read one book from before. But now Julie has cemented herself as one of my favorite authors because I gave Not Another Love Song by her, one of her contemporary romances, 5 stars. Then I gave this 5 stars. And then I also read Rose in Chains. I did give that 4 stars, but that was her delve into fantasy romance, so it's brand new for her. And then I still have another contemporary romance of hers to read in the new year, so I'm hoping that's 5 stars as well. But yeah, this one really surprised me, and I was just really excited to be able to read it and give 5 stars and own a copy. Alright guys, that is the end of the Nightmare Before Christmas book tag. Thanks so much for joining me today, as well as my little mini tree that's finally set up. I look forward to seeing you guys in another video soon. And down below, why don't you tell me what was your most surprising book of the year? And we can talk about it. See you in another video soon. Bye guys.